and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I'm so happy to see you again, and today we are working on an industrial build. And actually I've been trying to do this kind of build for a while now, but I will say industrial is not my strong suit. And in particular, I decided that I wanted to do a pink industrial home, which honestly, I don't know why, it just made my life a whole lot harder. I know a little while back I tried to do a pink industrial and then I ended up kind of abandoning it, and I think it ended up just being something pink. I still posted it, but it wasn't industrial because I couldn't quite make it work. But I'm actually building in the world of Nordhaven, so one of the newer worlds we've gotten, and I don't know if I've really built in this world except for the pack I made for businesses and hobbies, or the pack specific build I made for businesses and hobbies. And I don't know, like after looking at a bunch of lots, I feel like this lot looked good for an industrial build, if that makes sense. Like the buildings around it kind of had, I guess, not so much industrial, but like modern, if that makes sense. So hopefully it comes across as industrial. Just know that it is not my strength. But in actually building this, I decided that the sim that lives here is going to be a musician. I say that, but if you download this off the gallery, you can, of course, do whatever you want with it. This is just kind of what was going through my mind when I was building it, if that makes sense. And on that note, it is up on the Sims 4 gallery if you would like to download it under my ID, spicensprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And I wanted it to be pink. It's really like pink, black, and gray. It's kind of the color scheme, but I really couldn't do like all pink because that's too much. This is not like, I could not do like an all pink build for this, but I thought bringing in some of those black and then also like the metal sheeting kind of looked really nice, and then combining in some of those columns and the spandrels from, I want to say maybe werewolves, I think is where those came from. I think kind of helped fit it together pretty nicely. And like I said, in building this, I kind of came to the conclusion that this sim is actually a musician. This sim also has a cat. Why? I don't know. I just kind of decided while I was building it. And it was actually funny. I was trying to actually put a cat on the lot and have them sleep in the pet bed for the screenshots, but the cat would not cooperate. Like, it refused to cooperate. Like, I had the sim call them to the pet bed, and they were just like, they would walk close to it and be like, no, thank you, actually. But I did make sure that, your sim could actually get to the pet bed, if that makes sense. I think I kind of had it turned around when I built it, but it should work what is up on the gallery. And I end up actually, in the yard, I end up making like a little concert area for the sim because I figured maybe they like to put on shows, that kind of thing. I don't know what kind of music they play or write. I have no idea, but I actually end up putting a really nice little music station upstairs. So upstairs is actually the bedroom, the bathroom, and the music area, and then downstairs is our dining, kitchen, and living room, which you'll see coming up. I also included some plant accents just to soften up the industrial a little bit. Maybe that's why I'm not really good with industrial, because I have the habit of just kind of adding in other things that soften up the kind of harshness, not in a bad way, but like the harshness of industrial. I don't know, which is also why I still have that one build I don't know if I'm ever going to finish. It's supposed to be a big warehouse and it's supposed to be an industrial build, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it because it's difficult, but we'll see. But this is something I actually worked on the other week, and if you've been keeping up with my videos, I think literally one of the last videos I did, I said I was trying to pre-record because I had a lot going on, and I didn't get a lot of builds done. So apologies for not having some build videos out recently, but we've actually had a very busy couple of weeks. Like, I've been sick, then my dog was sick. My dog was sick twice, and then my husband actually had surgery. So it's just been like a lot of just stuff going on, and my husband's totally fine. He was having some like sinus, like nose surgery to help him breathe better and everything, and he's totally good. And I don't typically like to talk about, a lot of personal stuff, especially before it happens on my channel, but it has been several weeks since he had his surgery and he's doing well, so that's good. And then we also had some friends over this past, I guess maybe a week ago, now. And so we had some friends like flying in, that kind of thing. So we had a really nice time, but it's just, a lot of setting up and getting ready for a bunch of people staying at the house and things like that. So it's been good stuff mixed with some not great stuff like being sick and surgery, but it's all good. I did try. I just didn't end up getting stuff built and out in time. I was actually one of the builds I put out recently, or one of my more recent builds, I did the voice recording while my husband was sleeping after surgery. I was like, I'm going to run upstairs real quick and do a voiceover. And I think that was like the last one I was able to do before I just had a couple builds, like a building I did. And I know my voice has been kind of in and out, and it is right now too, so I apologize, but I've been having all kinds of allergy issues, and part of why I haven't been feeling great, but we're good. We're all good. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good here. And I did end up using the new appliances we got with the workshop kit. I say new appliances, you have to go into like the debug live edit menu and get those like the fixed versions out, but they are functional and all that kind of stuff. I just thought it'd be really cute in this, like maybe they refurbished them or got refurbished appliances. Honestly, if I could like design the house of my dreams with like anything I wanted and somehow figure out how to make everything make sense, I feel like I would definitely have a kind of vintage retro kitchen. I don't know what it is about those appliances. I love them so much. I actually found this shop that had nothing but these like vintage appliances, and I wanted to take them all home. I wanted to take all of them home. I have no way to use them. I don't need them. I don't need to buy them, but it's just funny. I love looking at them. So I thought that would be kind of cool to put in this build. And I also put an old like decal on the wall. I thought maybe it's left over from whatever this building used to be. I feel like industrial builds a lot of times are refurbished things, like factories, warehouses, whatever. So I thought that would be kind of nice in here. And like I said, I did play test this, so everything does work, so your sim can get around here, although I did have to shift around that grocery bag a little bit because the sim didn't like it there, but I did test it and your sim shouldn't have any issues. But I thought the decal on the wall ended up being really cute, and I will say I definitely had a lot of back and forth with this kitchen. I definitely stopped and tested things, and I kind of wanted to use the Snowy Escape counters, the ones with like the open shelving. However, I don't know, I kind of wanted a combination of stuff, but it felt like too open. I don't know. I kind of went back and forth a lot. I also tried to use right there in the middle, the like makeshift island I've created there is from the workshop kit as well. And I thought those would be really cool counters to be able to use, but I don't know, the sim didn't like it. So I don't know, I need to work on that some more to see if I can make that work, because I thought that would be really cool to use as countertops for the kitchen. So we'll see if I can get that to work sometime. But I did end up trying to use the new Businesses and Hobbies fireplace here. I actually end up putting that outside on the patio porch area and then bringing in, I think it's the Eco Lifestyle furnace looking thing. So I ended up putting that in the corner. And I will say at this point, I started struggling a bit. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to arrange things, what look I wanted. And I feel like sometimes the pinks in this game are kind of like the purples, but not quite as bad, where the shades don't really match. And so that started becoming a little bit more difficult. And I also didn't want to make it too pink and too frilly, if that made sense. And again, not that it's a bad thing, but I was trying really hard to stick with a kind of industrial vibe, which again, it is difficult for me. But I actually end up moving this window over and swapping the fireplace to the other side. And I actually end up taking a recording break after kind of working on this living room for a while, because I just really didn't know where to go with it, struggling with the rug and everything. And I did want to use the kind of cool cement floors just because I felt like it added to that industrial feeling. Although having concrete floors and some of those metal walls and stuff like that, there would be a lot of sound echoing in here, which I feel like ironically is very much not conducive to producing music and any kind of audio, because everything would just kind of, the sound waves would just bounce around everywhere. You'd get a lot of echoing. So I don't know, but it's fine because in The Sims it doesn't matter and we don't have to worry about that literally at all. So I just kind of went with it, whatever I felt like looked good. And so I ended up coming back and deciding that I just wanted to have almost like a floating entertainment center, which I think ended up working out really nicely here. And I ended up putting an ottoman underneath it. I thought it looked cute as like a pretend extra seating area, and I did use that chair that we got with Business and Hobbies because I just thought it would look really cool with the pink chair and almost like spray painted freezer bunny face on it. I just thought that would be really cute. And then just adding a few more, clutter items kind of all over the place. And at this point is when I decided they needed a cat because I put the cat picture there on the coffee table. So then it became mandatory that they have a cat. So I end up putting the litter box. And I forgot the word litter box for a second. I ended up putting it under the stairs, kind of out of the way. So you shouldn't have any issues like with it causing any problems. And it's one of the self-cleaning ones too, so your sim shouldn't have to be able to get to it, just the cat. And I kind of took one of these Businesses and Hobbies bookshelves and combined it with a tiny living desk here. So it's kind of like a built-in storage situation for your sim. And I kind of wanted this to be, I don't know if I would consider this tiny per se, but on the smaller side. And I definitely don't know what the tile count is, especially with the roof I did and the balcony and everything and the porch. I have a feeling it's not technically a tiny home, but I kind of wanted that more squished feeling when you're in there because I just thought that would be nice. And I do include a cat tree in here. I actually move it in front of the other window by the stairs on the second floor. So I ended up thinking that was really cute there. And in that, originally I was thinking where that cat tree is, that was going to be like an office area. But since I put the desk downstairs because I thought it would be a really nice little nook for it to be in, I was like, I need to have something else in here. And then trying to figure out, what it is. I wanted it to be some sort of career or hobby or something for your sim. So I literally went to the activities and skills section and started thinking about what haven't I done before. So I actually ended up having the music station and a keyboard. I think I've got a guitar. I might even have a violin and a microphone. Like I've got all kinds of stuff in here. So your sim, whether it's a hobby or their career, they have plenty to do in here. And I thought it would be cute to have the bed up on a platform here and combining it with some of those metal framing pieces. I don't know what they are, but they're kind of like exterior building, accessories. I don't know. So I put that in there and kind of combined it with some neon because I thought that would be kind of cool, thinking maybe that's their logo, maybe that's their stage name, like something like that. And then I was thinking about using those Journey to Batu nightstands there, but I think I opted to keep these instead. I think these are actually from base game because I don't think they are or are they in the industrial kit? I cannot remember. But I do end up using this black and white photograph art and then combining it with another photo with that frame. So if you're wondering, those do not come together. Those are ones that I layered over each other because I don't know, I just thought having that kind of shiny metallic frame would look kind of cool on there. I'm trying to remember which photo I used for that frame. It may be one of the vampire ones. I totally can't remember, but just combining those because I thought that would be a kind of cool look here, and then just adding some clutter kind of all the way around. And your sim should be able to get to both sides of the bed. I did test that, so hopefully that doesn't cause any kind of issues. And then I kind of put a closet over here, kind of an open air closet, because I figured it kind of went with the vibe of the house, if that makes sense. And just hanging their clothes up in here. And I did end up putting the wooden slats over those windows on the outside, you can see there. I thought it looked kind of cool. And what I think is interesting is I do have those like viney plants over it, but you can't see them on the inside of the house, which I didn't realize that would happen. So I don't know, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe everybody else in the world has noticed that, but I had no idea that was a thing. But I did use the Businesses and Hobbies sink in here because it just felt a little more industrial to me, if that makes sense. Like it's used for pottery or something, you know what I mean? Like they repurposed it, and using that new sleek bathroom towel holder there because I just thought that would be really adorable in here. And at this point, just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with this space for this sim, because I did want them to have a really nice hobby area. So at this point I'm kind of bringing everything out that I think I might want to use. I end up putting shelves over by the bathroom door as well, and I think I end up raising up I think it was a kid's violin. I ended up using that because I figured maybe they did a lot of music throughout their life and they had a violin and they wanted to keep it and they kind of have it on display. I also did that because I'm hoping then your sim doesn't try to use it. Of course, unless you have a child on the lot, then maybe they'll leave it alone and leave it on the shelf. I don't actually know if you were to raise up like the adult violin onto the shelf whether they would want to use it or not, but I did end up putting some like stage lights up here, which actually created a really cool lighting effect which I wasn't expecting, but I thought it looked kind of cool. And like I said, we end up putting like that, is it busking? I forgot what it's called. I hope I'm not wrong. I think from City Living, so your sim can go out there and play guitar or whatever out there by, I'm going to put like a tree and have like a little concert area on the side yard, which I thought ended up being really cool and useful for a musical sim. Again, I don't know if this is their career or if this is just one of their hobbies they have, but I just thought it'd be really cute. And then using some of those comfy gamer wall pieces and shelving, just kind of putting clutter over there, some headphones, CDs, that kind of thing. And I did put the pink speakers over in the corner because I thought that would be really cool and those would work as a stereo. Of course, I figured this sim definitely needed one since they are into music. And that was the little tiny violin I was talking about, and I think I actually sized it down as well. I just thought it'd be a cool decor element there. And I actually just noticed that I had a little black screen pop up. I don't know why that happened, so hopefully I figure that out and can take it out while I'm editing. Hopefully I can get rid of that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I took care of it. If you saw it, then I apologize. And I end up just kind of making a little seating area out here. I think I end up adding a microphone because I didn't want it to be just a seating area. I wanted it to be something useful. And I did actually have to move around the coffee table that I put out here because the sim acted like they couldn't get out of the door for some reason. So I just kind of scooted it over and they were like, oh, okay, that's fine. I can get around now. So your sim shouldn't have an issue, but just putting more plants out here. And I like the one that's coming off the roof there. I figured it's kind of like a curtain, a little bit of privacy for your sim, but it also has a really nice view of, I don't know if that's like, I guess, like a lake, a harbor, I can't really tell out there. But then out here, just for entertaining, I thought it'd be really nice to have a little seating area. And I just really liked the high school years furniture for this, and especially the, like, I want to call that an egg chair. Is that what, I don't know what's happening to my brain today, but that that chair over in the corner, I just thought it would fit really nicely. And then just adding a few plants out here. And I do end up adding, I believe I add a little driveway as well. I know we don't have cars and it's not like, you know, practical, but I think it's cute, especially for a sim who's maybe taking their musical instruments and things places. Maybe they do gigs, you know, elsewhere. I don't know. This is just kind of what I'm thinking, because I think I end up using like a van out there because I just thought that would be good for them to move everything around. And originally I was thinking about putting a fence around the yard, but then it felt just kind of closed in. I just wanted it to be a little more open once I actually started doing it, especially since I was using a foundation and everything. And then I actually end up swapping out the flooring here on the porches because I found this one, I think it may be from Businesses and Hobbies, but it almost looks to me like it was stenciled, like it was cement, and then somebody came back with black paint and kind of sponge stenciled something on it, which I thought was kind of a cute idea. Like maybe it is something that was here with the build, and then when someone came in and redesigned it, they did that to kind of make it a little cuter. I don't know. I just thought that was a nice touch. At least that's what was going through my brain when I swapped it, if that makes sense. Sometimes I like talking about why I made the choices I made, just in case anybody is curious. And then I wanted there to be some sort of backdrop to their little performance area. So I was looking at different partitions and things that we have. And then I think I end up using that Decor to the Max one there. I think is what I landed on. But I tried using the wedding stories backdrops as well because I thought those would be really cute, but it just felt too, I don't know, like it felt like too much over there, if that makes sense. And then I just end up putting some picnic blankets out here from Love Struck and putting some chairs and a picnic basket and some books, things like that. I think I end up putting like a towel out here with a backpack and like lunch boxes, things like that. People are coming over and hanging out while they play music because I just thought that would be super adorable to have. And I mean, I guess you could almost make this like a little business, like maybe people come to listen to music, that kind of thing. I don't know, that might be something to test out, but I thought hanging some lights from the trees back here would also be really adorable. And then of course going in and adding a bunch of landscaping, which also, speaking of landscaping, my next video has a lot of it, which is also why it took me a while, I feel like, to get videos out, because I was trying to get that build done. But I end up just kind of putting this tree in here, and then in debug, I think it's from base game, end up finding the metal cage things that go around trees. I don't know. Does anybody know what those are called? Like, anyways, I put that there. And so if you recognize them, I think they're like in Willow Creek and stuff like that. But I thought that would be super cute to have here. Like maybe it's just something that was on the lot originally and they decided to keep it. And then because I couldn't help myself, I put around flowers everywhere. I was going to go with a more minimalistic look, but this was really cute, so I decided to go with it instead. And then just having some flowers around here and adding in some of those blue low-lying flowers as well, which I also think are from debug. They're some of my favorites though, to be honest. I really like them. I like the deep green color and the bright blue. That nice contrast is quite lovely, at least in my opinion. And then just going around here with some black rocks and just to add a little more texture to this area, I think, you know, helps and worked out pretty well. And then hopefully when you download it, you don't have any issues with the terrain paint disappearing. I feel like it's always a toss-up whether I have issues with that or not, you know, whether it disappears. But just adding, again, some more decor here to the picnic blankets, just because I thought it'd be a really cute idea for people to be able to hang out here. Maybe, you know, people come after school, that kind of thing. And it's just adding some shoes, like maybe they were hanging out, take their shoes off, that kind of thing. And then just adding some lighting around here, because I felt like we definitely need some, especially if you're performing at night. You wouldn't want it to be like pitch black out here. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. I'll take you to a place we can see it all. Step off the edge, I can break your fall. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. Fall down, I'll get you back up again. The things you try are things that you won't regret.